there, and welcome to the ADK Rock and Metal channel. I am Dave, one of your hosts from the channel. Today we are doing the weekly roundup of what's happening in the world of rock and metal at the end of a week ending the 15th of March. Now, releases that are coming out, we're going to cover the releases off, and then we're going to talk about some of the news that came out in the rock and metal world this week. In alphabetical order, we're going to take this through. There's going to be a lot of releases. There is a ton coming out of there. Some bands I'm well aware of and well known, some that I've never heard of, and some that I'm really looking forward to. So we have Aardvark dropping their new album Tough Love, well worth checking out. Nuclear Blast dropping from the band Aborted, Vault of Horrors. Should be an interesting track album from them. Marg and Exclamation Point also drops this Friday. And Atrophy and Asylum is also out off of Massacre label. The Black Crows, for the rock fans out there, are dropping Happiness Bastards. Sounds very interesting. Bongzilla dropping a live album called Dabbin, which is from their European tour. Brat, a great band from America we've covered on the channel before. I'm really looking forward to that. They're dropping Social Grace, looks interesting. Comeback Kid are dropping their EP Trouble, so check that out. Dragon Force are back with a brand new album from Napalm Records, and that is Warp Speed Warriors. So we all like a little bit of Dragon Force from time to time. Interim Nater and From the Infinite Light drops this Friday, and Kid Capisci, There Goes the Neighborhood is also out. We have Leverlung and Graveside Grin, Lords of Black, Mechanics of Predacity, interesting album title. Lepiz and Changing the Melody. Lust Maud and Must Unseen is also here. Some great names in here, some I've never heard of at all. Lefaro dropping Chasing Euphoria. Again, another band I've never heard of, but very interesting album title. Mouse Den and The Haunting of Silvercurra Mill. Rites of Passage. That's one hell of an album title, guys. But that drops on the 15th. Mike Tramp and MF. What the hell is that title? Mike Tramp, M and F and Tid. Okay. Necrophobic, I've never known of this band, and In the Twilight Grey, so that Century Media are dropping that album this Friday. We have Night Versus, Every Sound Has a Colour in the Valley of the Night, Part 2. I've never even heard Part 1, so there you go. Perwiberg and The Serpent's Head. Not a great name, Perwiberg. Not really catchy, but fair enough. We have the Progressive Souls Collective and Sonic Rebirth. There you go. Scott Stapp is dropping his new album, Higher Power, on Napalm Records. Interesting. Obviously, with all the focus we're getting around Creed as well. Shock Withdrawal and The Dismal Advance. We have Silver Mountain doing a couple of re-releases, which is Shaking Brains and Universe. Your Dad is dropping Your Dad. And, of course, Victimus and their album Epic is also dropping this week from Seasons of Mist. So there's a couple of key ones in there. I think the Scott Stapp one's going to be a really interesting one to see where that goes, especially with all the focus on Creed. And I'm interested to see what happens with Dragon Force. Will it just be more of the same? We will find out when I check it out. Now, news. Let me have a slurp. Needed that. Let's talk about some of the stories that have come out this week. So, Soulfire are to return to Big Groove tribal sound on their upcoming album. Now, seriously, Max, have you not got enough other projects going on with Cavalier Conspiracy, etc.? But now, is this to play on the fact that obviously we know it's the final year and a bit of the Sepultura collapse final tour, I guess, and with Eloy obviously going off to join Slipknot. I know it's not announced, but we know it is going to happen. We know that Roots vibe is still quite popular with the new metal vibe of them, and they're still the early Sepultura fans. So are they talking about that to kind of really double down on the focus that's been given to Sepultura over the last sort of 6 months? Maybe. It'd be good to hear them going back towards that. But yeah, I guess it's news. There is a sequel to the iconic mockumentary Spinal Tap is finally starting to be filmed in New Orleans. Now, I really have no idea what the story point could possibly be. I mean, they were old when they filmed this, and this is an old film. It's a classic. It's a great film, but you're talking some serious time has passed for the the Spinal Tap lads, and they're all getting back together for this. Should be really interesting. Are we going to see Spinal Tap from the retirement home? Who knows, but should be quite funny. Slipknot's Clown has talked about his on the decision to fire Jay Weinberg. There's no hard feelings. There never was. Well, tell you that to frickin' Jay Weinberg. I think he was a bit hard feelings about it. It's nice for you to say there's no hard feelings from it. He got told he was fired. I think there's some hard feelings, Clown. I think you might want to look into that. Nightwish has re-signed with Nuclear Blast Records. Now, one of the things that was interesting about this was when Marco left Nightwish, one of the big things he'd mentioned about was the fact that they're going out there working their backsides off. They're doing all this work, merchandise, etc., 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 but they weren't getting a great deal. So they've resigned from Nuclear Blast, but I would expect them to have renegotiated and got a much better deal than what they were on before. But we will wait and see. But good to know that they have got stability there. And to be honest, a lot of other labels would have happily taken them on. Sebastian Bach has talked about his Skid Row's unwillingness to reunite the classic lineup, saying, "I honestly think that it's a business thing." I doubt that's the reason why they won't join up. If it was a business thing, they would join up because you would make a lot more money with you back in Skid Row. They'd have a lot more focus on it, and you'd have much bigger tours. So if it was, I think it's a personal thing. I don't think it's a business thing, old Sebby boy. Let's talk about Carcass. I love this one from Bill Steer at Carcass. Carcass is not working on any new music at the moment. Is that news? That's no news. If they were working on music, that would be news, wouldn't it? It'd be like me sort of saying, putting a video out up here and going, I'm not working on videos at the moment. Well, we know that because you haven't put any videos out. I mean, seriously, sort it out. Okay, Marco Hex. Nightwish doesn't rule out starting a new band with Tarja. Now, that's an interesting one. So if he started a new band with Tarja, everyone is constantly going to be comparing it to Nightwish. It's always going to be. If it doesn't sound like Nightwish, there'll be disappointment. If it does sound like Nightwish, then they're going to say they copied and they shouldn't have done it and they shouldn't evolve. It's a lose-lose, and I don't... Maybe guesting, but I wouldn't put like a whole... Helping each other out and guesting on each other's songs is fine. Starting a new band together, there's a lot of questions about that. I personally wouldn't recommend it. What we got? Scott Stapp says, Creed in his solo career can 100% coexist creativity. Of course they can. I mean, we've got Alter Bridge and Creed doing it. We've seen that for many... with Miles Kennedy, he's been able to go off and do the work with Slash as well, and go out and do the tours with him. So it's not an issue in the sense of them being able to work together. The main thing is if the into politics or anything he does on his solo has a negative impact on Creed. But as far as the creativity, it shouldn't be an issue for them. And I think that's worth saying because he has talked about it. And our final piece of news that I thought was worth talking about was Kirk Hammett says Phil Denble's guitar lead in Kerry King's Idle Hands is the best solo of the year so far. Now, it really depends on what you think of Kirk Hammett as a soloist. He does what he does. He does it very well. But his range of solos is minimalistic. It works for Metallica, but I could probably hum you maybe 2 solos. In all honesty, I don't think he's dropped a good solo since 91. I think when you're talking about the Unforgiven solo, that's probably his pinnacle. And I haven't heard much else from Kirk Hammett since then. If someone like Marty Friedman came out and said it, I'd probably be a little bit more like, bloody hell. If Marty Friedman is saying that Phil Denver's guitar solo is one of the best of the year, I'd be all over that. But he hasn't. So it's kind of it's a bit of non-news there from Kirk Hammett. And that is it. That is all I've got for you for this week from the ADK channel. Hopefully the next week we'll have some more content. This was our first week of doing a weekly roundup, and so let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the video sometime very soon. Take care.